Today on the channel, we celebrate 49,000 subscribers to this very YouTube channel with another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 10. In today's video, we're counting down my top 10 most wanted WWE Superstars figures.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 10, a Thursday tradition on this very YouTube channel where we're counting down my top 5 and occasionally, like today, top 10 favorites of something. And today, we're busting into the WWE Superstars line with the top 10 figures I would like to see. And of course, we usually do 5, but occasionally top 10s on these videos. And today we're doing top 10 in honor of 49,000 subscribers to this channel. So thank everybody that has subscribed. Now we're nearing and getting closer to 50,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Got to do something special for 50,000. I'm here for ideas if you want to put them in the comments down below. We're almost to a point where it's been so long of these top 5 and top 10 lists where maybe we start over. I think Bret Hart and the Legion of Doom were the first top 5s we ever did. Do we start those over and do top 10s of those? We could go back and do that, or there's maybe some things you guys haven't seen yet that we'd like to see. Shout it out in the comments down below, and we'll see what happens for the 50,000 subscribers top 10. We've got to think of a fun video for that milestone, of course. But of course, WWE Superstars line, for a lot of people, their favorite wrestling toy line going today. A very special line and a line that has really grown, and a lot of people, obviously, it does resonate with. However, Walmart seems to be very difficult for this line. I don't think it's pretty safe to say it's the most challenging wrestling figure line to collect here in 2025. I say it all the time. I always end up usually buying them from Walmart or eBay just because when they do hit, it's about 7 months after those stores do get them. And you're still never guaranteed to get them out there at retail. And I always have to have a mint on card set. That's an extra challenge to these figures. So to me, it's worth paying $5, $10 more a figure just to get it over with and just take that pressure off. But I know not everybody is that way. Not everybody wants to do that as well. And at the end of the day, we should be able to just find these at our Walmart stores. And a lot of people want to blame Mattel. We always hear that. It's easy to have them as the scapegoat. But at the end of the day, Mattel is going to make as many as Walmart orders. If Walmart says, I want 1 million units of this, they're going to say, okay, we're shipping you 1 million. If they say, hey, we want 10,000, they're going to ship them 10,000. At the end of the day, Mattel is kind of hands-free on this one. They shipped them to Walmart. They fulfilled their end of the deal. What Walmart does with them as far as distribution and everything else, that's up to Walmart. And Mattel, they're not going to fight too hard for us because guess what? At the end of the day, they got paid. They got their money. They got their money from Walmart. It's up to Walmart to figure out the distribution and all that kind of stuff. Mattel's got other things to do. They've got their money. They've moved on. You always got to put your business hat on. And as Jesse Ventura always says, you got to follow the money. You got to follow the money on these Superstars figures. And that's just part of the challenge with these. But I will say there's something fun about the challenge a little bit. Maybe for you, maybe for me, maybe for nobody. You guys tell me in the comments. But of course, this is a top 10 list. We're going to start at number 10, work our way to number 1. Number 1 being my absolute favorite. Once again, this list 100% right because it's my list. But guess what? Your list 100% right. It's your list. But make sure you put it in the comments down below. I will put an asterisk on this video too, and I want you guys to hold to this asterisk. It has to be people that are realistically possible. They have to be signed as part of a Legends deal, have Mattel figures. You can't just say, you know what, I want Masawa in this line. Well, that would be cool, that'd be fun, but he's not signed to a Legends deal, so we can't do that. So keep it to people that have a Legends deal or a newly signed Legends deal as well. So, but without further ado, let's get down to it. Let's kick it off at number 10. All right, we kick it off at number 10, and number 10 is a little bit of a layup, and this is a guy that is no stranger to action figures. We've had so many action figures from him over the last 2 years and make your head spin, possibly could have the most figures of anybody over the last couple of years, but I'm sure there's probably a Rey Mysterio or somebody that has all the main events, basics, all these kiddie toys and stuff, but this guy's right up there. Who are we talking about at number 10? We're talking about the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. Now, we did recently get a version of him. However, the version I'm looking for Davey Boy Smith in the number 10 spot for me is the Hart Foundation version. Now, we got Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart with their Hart Foundation jackets on. Get me British Bulldog to match that. You got to have the short hair. You guys know the Bulldog I'm talking about. But it'd be very cool to have that version of the Hart Foundation in the Superstars line. We already got 2 of them. We know Owen isn't going to happen, but I'd love to see British Bulldog in that line, and that's why he comes in at number 10. We got a little bit of a theme here with number 9. Of course, once again, we're going to that Hart Foundation I was just talking about with British Bulldog. This time, we're going to Brian Pillman. Of course, a flying Brian would be cool in the Superstars line, but I would like to see the first one for Brian Pillman to be a Superstars figure of him in his Hart Foundation jacket. Amazing time frame, amazing time to be a wrestling fan when the Hart Foundation was running wild. We got Jim Neidhart. Of course, we got Bret Hart. Hopefully, we get Davey Boy. Hopefully, we get Pillman. Unfortunately, it will just feel incomplete because we will not get an Owen Hart head. Is what it is, but I would really like to see the Brian Pillman in here. And of course, Brian just recently signing a Legends deal. We'll be unboxing a Brian Pillman figure on this channel here in the next week or so. Very excited to get that. Very excited for the future opportunities for Brian Pillman as well. So Brian Pillman coming in at number 9 in my top 10 Superstars Most Wanted list. We're feeling great at number 8 per the norm here on the channel, but the number 8 one is one I am sure will be announced or we will receive by the end of the year, I would have to think. Feels like a little bit of a layup to me to make this one in the Superstars line. And who are we talking about? A guy that's no stranger to action figures. We've recently had a Target exclusive Ultimate Edition of this performer. It is the American Dream. It is Dusty Rhodes, and I'll honestly take NWA Dusty Rhodes. I'll also take Polka Dot Dusty Rhodes. And to me, I don't know, you guys tell me, I feel like the Polka Dot Dusty Rhodes kind of fits the Superstars motif a little bit better. Have to imagine it's coming, though. There's enough meat on the Dusty Rhodes bone. I think he makes a lot of sense. You got that Earthquake, Bam Bam Bigelow body type Typhoon. I think they'll use that for Dusty as well. Just seems like an easy layup for us. Have to imagine that's coming sooner rather than later, and that's why Dusty Rhodes comes in at number 8. We're at the number 7 spot in the top 10 Superstars Most Wanted list, and number 7, once again, feels a little bit like a layup once again, like John Stockton charging the basket. It feels like it will be a thing that comes to fruition sooner rather than later. This is a gentleman that just recently signed a Legends deal once again. Have to imagine we're going to have a lot of his figures coming, and I'm actually thinking about doing a video on this subject on the channel, so stay tuned for that in the future. But who are we talking about at number 7? Well, we're talking about Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Of course, another guy that just feels natural for the Superstars line. I would love to see a 2-in-1 Hacksaw, though, with an extra head with the face paint from his time with Demolition. Give us both options of that. Make me buy 2 of those to unbox. I would love to see that. Of course, 2x4, you got to have that. Probably the blue standard trucks. That's what most people think of with Hacksaw. Just seems like an easy one, much like the Dusty Rhodes we just talked about. Can't wait to see some of these Hacksaw figures we're going to get. You know we'll get a Coliseum collection. We'll get some more Elites, some reruns of some Elites. There's a lot of meat on the old Hacksaw bone where it doesn't feel like there is, but man, there really is a lot, including number 7 here in the Superstars line Most Wanted list. Next up, number 6, and you could say the bird is the word. Another recent signing here, signed about the same time as Tito Santana. Tito be another great one, just not in my top 10 list. But who are we talking about here at number 6? Well, we're talking about the Birdman. We're talking about Koko B. Ware. Maybe nobody's favorite wrestler. I never met anybody that their favorite wrestler, even top 5 wrestlers, was Koko B. Ware. But he was one of those guys that was always around. You always respected Koko and his work. You respected Frankie the Bird for sure. But a very toyetic performer. Of course, having an LJN back in the day, having a Hasbro back in the day, and have to imagine having an Elite sooner rather than later. Going to be very cool to get some of these Koko B. Ware figures. I forgot to mention Jakks Classic Superstars. We got 2 Koko B. Wares back in the day. But it'll be cool to have an Ultimate Edition. I have to imagine part of the Coliseum collection. Be cool to have an Elite, and it'll be cool to have an eventual Superstars figure of Koko. You get a bird, you get one of the colorful jackets, the colorful tights. I think it just really works once again for the Superstars line. Just once again seems like an easy layup with Koko B. Ware at number 6. We've hit the halfway point of the countdown. You got your list together. Put it in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, as every single Thursday we're doing a top 5, top 10 list. Our next top 10 will be for 50,000 subscribers. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, because we got a big video celebrating that, the 5-year anniversary of this channel. And when we do have 50,000 subscribers, if we do it by the time of that video, we got 5 giveaways. So stay tuned for that as well. But here we are at number 5. And number 5 has to happen. This one has to happen because we got Mankind, we got Cactus Jack, we need Dude Love in the Superstars line. We got to get a Dude Love figure before things are all said and done. We need the 3 faces of Foley. Feels once again like a very easy one, but boy, this line will feel very unfinished if we do not get a Dude Love to finish off the trifecta of Mick Foley. I wouldn't even be against a Mick Foley figure. I don't see that happening, but we got to have the 3 faces of Foley for sure. So Dude Love, an easy one for me, coming in number 5. Dangerously close to the top spot. We're at the number 4 selection now, and number 4, another recent signing to the WWE Legends deal. One of my all-time favorite performers. And when I say that, I'm not just talking wrestling. I'm talking movies. I'm talking TV shows. I'm talking just being a wild man. Who are we talking about? Well, no conspiracy here.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
We're talking Jesse Ventura at number 4. Oh my gosh, how many different Jesse Ventura looks could we get in the Superstars line? First off, for me, I'd like Announcer Ventura. Give me that one where he's got the headgear with kind of all the gold chain things going down, kind of like we got in Classic Superstars. Get me that version. But I would love to see a Jesse in Elite. Give me a Wrestling Jesse. Give me Announcer Jesse. Have to imagine Coliseum Collection Jesse coming in the Ultimate Edition line. Tales from the Territories. We can even do an AWA themed one. Maybe pair him up with somebody else from the AWA. Bobby Heenan maybe would be a good one. Just a lot of good looks for Jesse Ventura. An all-time favorite performer. One of the greats of all time. Tailor-made for the Superstars line. And get me Jesse Ventura at number 4. The final 3, you knew we couldn't have a top 10 without this performer. My favorite of all time. I have 2 favorites, and this guy's right at the top of the bill. It is the Ultimate Warrior. Now, we did get a Superstars Ultimate Warrior in the infancy of the line, but I feel it's time to revisit the Warrior. Let's bring back the power of the Warrior, but this time, let's give him in his Hasbro 1 gear, that fluorescent green. I think for a lot of people around the world, they close their eyes, they think of the Ultimate Warrior. That's what they think of. They think of that green neon tights for the Warrior. I think that would translate very well into the Superstars line. I would love to see it. More Warriors, the better. If you ask me, no Warrior left behind. And that's what I want to see at number 3. Did somebody say face paint? No, you didn't, Todd, Mark? Oh, I guess I was hearing it in my head. I'm hearing voices. I'm hearing voices of face paint coming after the Ultimate Warrior. But the number 2 selection in my top 10 most wanted, another team that just recently signed a Legends deal, tailor-made for the Superstars line. You got Axe, you got Smash, you got Demolition. Get me Demolition. How fun would it be to have them in the Superstars line? Just feel like they were made for a line like this. And as we've said with some of these other performers we've talked about, can't wait to see a Coliseum Collection Axe without Smash. That'll be very strange if that does happen. But of course, new Legends, new Ultimates, all kinds of stuff. I can see it happening. Be very, very fun to get Demolition. And of course, one of the funnest lines to get Demolition in would definitely be the Superstars line. Bring on Demolition. But of course, now we got to bring on the number 1. What is my number 1 most wanted WWE Superstars figure? Well, stay tuned. We've hit the number 1 spot. My number 1 most wanted WWE Superstar figure of all time. What is yours? Don't forget to put your list in the comments down below. And of course, as I said, this is celebrating 49,000 subscribers. We got to do something special for 50,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe, tell a friend, and of course, put your list down in below of what you think I should do for the 50,000 subscriber top 10 video. It's got to be something good. It's a milestone. We got to do it. So we'll see. We'll see on that one there. But the number 1 selection for me here today is one that's maybe not on everybody else's list. And I can see a lot of people making the argument saying, Kyle, a lot of other people on your list, I would move way beyond this one here. I get that, but at the end of the day, it's my list, and you like what you like. You don't what you don't. I did talk about Ultimate Warrior being my favorite performer of all time. Well, there's a guy that's neck and neck with him right there. Really kind of the 2 different eras of wrestling love is kind of what it was. Kind of the yin and yang of what wrestling is all about to me. Who is number one? Who is my number one most wanted? Well, it's the man, the myth, the legend. It is that old desperado. It is Terry Funk. Of course, Terry Funk, one of my all-time favorite performers right there with the Ultimate Warrior. I already have a Warrior in the line. We've talked about that. We have not got a Terry Funk. That's why I have him ahead of the Ultimate Warrior. But Terry Funk would look amazing if you give us the desperado kind of outlaw with the poncho kind of thing going on, the Texas hat, the branding iron. That would be great. That makes a lot of sense in the Superstars, kind of like getting his ultimate there. However, at the same time, I would love to see the ECW barber shorts kind of tights he had going on there. I would love to see that. That's a classic look for Terry Funk. I would also like to see, and this is probably the leading candidate for me, not sure it's going to happen, but we know the Great Muta is coming to the Superstars line. I would love to see a Terry Funk that matches that Great Muta from back in the NWA, way back there in like, what was it, 1989 or so. I would love to see the I Quit match Terry Funk. That's what I want to see in the Superstars. Or I would also love to see that in an Elite and Ultimate. But I'll take what I can get. Anything Terry Funk is great, but I feel like we need a Terry Funk in this set. I would welcome multiple Terry Funks. Not sure if that is possible, but I would welcome many. And Terry Funk easily for me is my number one selection. So there it is. That's my top 10 most wanted WWE Superstars. Be very interested to hear your thoughts once again in the comments down below and your recommendation for a 50,000 subscriber top 10 as well. And like I said multiple times, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're here. Of course, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget the Patreon for early access to all the videos here on the channel. Really do appreciate the support over on Patreon. ProWrestlingTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. My book, available digitally as well as Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It is the complete guide to the Jakks Class Superstar series. About 700 pages, everything you could ever want about that series. Check it out, of course. And don't forget, SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, and now on TikTok. So for another top 10, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?